Forget the pyramids or ancient treasures buried beneath the sand. Right now, Egypt is constructing a real miracle in the heart of the Sahara. Thousands of giant pools are appearing amidst the dunes like a crazy mirage. But make no mistake, this is not a resort for the super rich. This is a white gold mine worth billions of dollars, where humans are performing a mission that challenges every law of nature, bringing the entire ocean into the heart of the desert. What is this gold mine? Why would a country constantly on the verge of extreme aridity dare to pour millions of cubic meters of water into the scorching sand? Is this a crazy waste, or a calculated engineering revolution to rescue the future of 160 million people? In this video, join massive minds to decode the sea in the desert strategy, an infrastructure miracle that is completely changing the destiny of an entire nation. The mega project you are seeing is the achievement of the Alchemy Group, spanning over 2,000 hectares in the western desert region of Egypt. These are not traditional mud ponds, but a high-tech aquaculture complex with thousands of fully digitized farming ponds. But the craziest thing is that this entire giant system operates based on inland salt water pumped up from depths of hundreds of meters beneath the sand, a resource that had been considered useless for thousands of years. But why did Egypt have to choose such an expensive and risky gamble? The answer lies in the survival puzzle of 160 million people by the year 2050. Egypt no longer has the land fund or the fresh water to raise livestock traditionally. Meanwhile, the Nile River is being seriously threatened by mega hydroelectric dams upstream, making the freshwater source more precarious than ever. Egypt needs a strategic food source that does not depend on the flow of this river. And the desert, a place that seems to offer only death, provides an invaluable technical advantage: isolation. Amidst the vast expanse of sand, pathogens from the ocean cannot penetrate, ensuring the shrimp achieve absolute purity and quality, making them strong competitors in the European or Japanese markets. But a difficult question is raised. In the middle of the parched Sahara Desert, where can millions of cubic meters of salt water be found to fill these giant farming ponds? If you think they pulled a pipeline from the Mediterranean Sea, you are mistaken. Technically, Egyptian engineers faced three brutal choices. The first option was conveying seawater from a distance. It sounds reasonable, but the cost for hundreds of kilometers of pipeline, along with a giant pumping station system, is an astronomical figure. Not to mention the risk of leaks causing salinization of all the neighboring land. The second option was using water from the Nile River. This is completely prohibited because the Nile River is the only agricultural blood vessel, and it is not allowed to be wasted for any other purpose. Ultimately, they chose an unexpected option, tapping into saline groundwater, a nearly forgotten water source because it couldn't support traditional agriculture or livestock farming. Hidden deep hundreds of meters under layers of limestone and scorching sand are not arid rocks, but giant ancient water pockets that have existed for millions of years. These are the vestiges of ancient seas buried through geological eras. The miracle is that this water source is completely sterile, possesses stable salinity, and the temperature never fluctuates according to the surface weather, golden factors that every shrimp farming expert desires. To access this treasure, the Egyptians used high-pressure, deep drilling technology, penetrating the hardest layers of sediment to release the water that had been trapped for millions of years. They are not just digging wells, they are exploiting a geological heritage to serve current survival. Choosing on-site saline groundwater not only helps save billions of United States dollars in transportation costs, but also turns this project into a biologically completely isolated island. A truly clean water source, without pollution or diseases, is the first foundation to create the sea and lake miracle in the heart of the desert. Imagine you are trying to fill a bucket that has no bottom. Obviously, the water will never stay full. This is exactly what engineers faced after finding the groundwater source. Unlike moist soil, which has the capacity to retain water, the desert surface consists of a layer of loose sand with nearly absolute permeability. If water were poured directly here, millions of cubic meters of water would immediately disappear into the ground before a pond could even form. Why were traditional options such as clay or concrete removed from the priority list? Technically, clay is completely infeasible due to physical shrinkage under the 50 degrees Celsius temperatures of the Sahara, which leads to surface cracking within just a few hours. Meanwhile, concrete, despite being solid, reveals a fatal weakness in elasticity. Under the pressure of tens of thousands of tons of water and the constant shifting of the sand foundation, rigid concrete structures would be torn apart due to uneven settlement stress. The optimal technical solution chosen was HDPE lining. This polymer material possesses superior indicators for tensile strength, flexible expansion, and, particularly, it remains inert under harsh ultraviolet UV radiation. However, laying the liner is only the final step. The actual process begins with a series of rigorous foundation treatments, using heavy-duty vibratory rollers to compact the sand to a standard density, creating a stable load-bearing surface. A layer of fine sand is then spread to act as a protective cushion, eliminating any risk of mechanical damage from sharp objects. The key point in this process is the automatic dual-wedge heat welding technology. Instead of using conventional joints, this device melts the edges of the liner at temperatures exceeding 400 degrees Celsius to create a uniform molecular bond. Analyzing the weld structure more deeply, we can see a hollow air channel in the middle. This is not a redundant detail, but the center of the quality control process. Technicians pump high-pressure air into this channel. Only when the pressure gauge maintains its reading for the specified time is the weld confirmed to be absolutely standard. This control system transforms thousands of farming ponds into perfectly sealed basins with zero permeability. This not only prevents saltwater loss, but also creates a biosecurity barrier that absolutely separates the shrimp farming environment from pollutants in the desert strata. After addressing the waterproofing issue with HDPE liners, the next technical challenge was maintaining the biochemical parameters of the water in a completely closed system. In a closed pond system, shrimp waste and leftover feed decompose rapidly, producing ammonia. This is a toxic gas that can kill all the shrimp in the pond in a short time if left untreated. In the desert, where water is an extremely precious resource, pumping out polluted water and replacing it with clean water is impossible. Therefore, Recirculating Aquaculture Systems, RAS technology, a closed-loop aquaculture system, was implemented as an on-site water treatment plant. The core of this system is a continuous treatment loop. First, water from the pond is led through drum filters. You can imagine these as superfine rotating filter meshes that immediately separate all solid waste and debris from the water flow before they can decompose. However, filtering debris is not enough because the toxins dissolved in the water remain. This is when the biological filtration process speaks up. The water is fed into giant tanks containing billions of small plastic beads called microbial media. On these plastic beads, beneficial bacteria will reside and perform the task of eating toxic ammonia, converting it into less toxic nitrate substances. To ensure absolute safety, before returning to the pond, this water flow must pass through UV light systems or ozone gas. This step helps to completely kill all types of bacteria and potential pathogens, ensuring the water environment is always sterile. Finally, high-capacity aerators will pump a large amount of oxygen into the water. Maintaining a high and stable oxygen concentration is the key factor that helps shrimp grow healthy and allows for farming at much higher densities than traditional ponds. What makes RAS technology the key to this megastructure is the ability to reuse up to 90% of the water volume. The entire process, from temperature and salinity to oxygen concentration, is monitored by smart sensors that send data to the control center. The computer system will automatically adjust the filtration and aeration devices to ensure the water environment is always in the best possible condition. It is the precision of this recirculation technique that has allowed the Egyptians to create a stable marine environment right in the heart of the harsh desert. By now, you are probably wondering, how can sensitive creatures like shrimp survive amidst the intense temperature fluctuations of the Sahara? Obviously, with heat reaching 50 degrees Celsius during the day They would be boiled alive in just a few hours, and then face the risk of freezing when the temperature drops deep below 10 degrees Celsius at night. To create a stable living environment for shrimp, a species very susceptible to thermal shock, the Egyptians had to build a massive technological shell covering the entire project. The entire series of shrimp ponds, not located in their natural habitat, is enclosed within a system of specialized shelters. This membrane acts as the first line of defense, eliminating direct ultraviolet radiation and preventing water loss due to evaporation. However, confining shrimp in enclosed spaces under the harsh desert sun creates a greenhouse effect, turning the area into a furnace if effective cooling solutions are not in place. To redirect the laws of temperature, engineers deployed an ingenious evaporative cooling system. Cooling pads that are continuously kept moist are placed at one end of the greenhouse, coordinating with high-capacity industrial exhaust fans at the opposite end. When dry, hot air from the desert is sucked through these water curtains. A heat exchange process occurs. The evaporating water absorbs heat from the air, reducing the airflow temperature by 10 to 15 degrees Celsius before it floods into the pond area. This method helps maintain a stable water temperature of 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, the ideal temperature range for rapid shrimp growth without being affected by extreme external temperature fluctuations. The final issue is the energy source. Operating tens of thousands of exhaust fans and oxygen aerators throughout the day and night requires a massive amount of electricity that the traditional power grid can hardly meet in the middle of the desert. The answer lies in the project's greatest enemy itself: sunlight. The Egyptians have covered the adjacent sand areas with solar panel fields, utilizing the extremely high radiation intensity of the Sahara to generate self-sufficient, clean electricity. The combination of smart greenhouse infrastructure and renewable energy has transformed dead lands into a high-precision food production laboratory where humans completely master the climate to serve the goal of survival. After completing the infrastructure, Alchemy Group's large-scale project entered the operational phase with the mindset of an industrial plant rather than a traditional agricultural farm. To optimize costs and ensure the highest survival rate for the shrimp, the Egyptians have deployed biological management algorithms based on real-time data. The most significant breakthrough is the precision farming technique using an acoustic biosensor system. Instead of feeding, according to a fixed schedule, which wastes food and pollutes, the water source automated feeders controlled by artificial intelligence will listen to sounds beneath the pond's surface. When the shrimp are hungry, the characteristic clicking sounds from their feeding activity are emitted at a distinct frequency. The sensors record this and immediately activate the feeding process with the exact required dosage. The intervention of this technology not only helps reduce food costs by 20%, but also keeps the water environment in its cleanest state. To eliminate all risks of cross-contamination and fluctuations from external supply chains, Egypt has built a closed ecosystem right at the heart of the project. They do not transport post-larva shrimp or feed from coastal areas hundreds of kilometers away, as that journey poses risks of pathogens and thermal shock. Instead, a high-tech hatchery center and an aquatic feed production plant are located right within the 2,000-hectare campus in the middle of the desert. The isolation of the Sahara now becomes the most effective natural protective fortress. There are no rivers or ocean currents that can carry external viruses into this system. The result of this infrastructure revolution is an expressive figure regarding output, propelling Egypt to the position of a leading shrimp-producing nation in the region. Economically, the export value of each ton of white gold is dozens of times higher than that of traditional agricultural products, such as wheat or cotton, per unit of country using it. This is an extremely smart water economic solution for a nation facing water resource scarcity. More importantly, the project has created thousands of high-tech jobs, attracting a young generation of intellectuals back to lands that were once abandoned to operate complex Internet of Things and recirculating aquaculture systems. Regarding food security, this megastructure helps Egypt reduce its dependence on dwindling natural fishing sources by up to 50%, ensuring a sustainable protein source for 160 million people in the future. What we are witnessing is not just a shrimp farm, but a blueprint for the future of humanity, where intellect and engineering can turn the harshest lands into anchors for life and prosperity. The mega project in the Sahara is not a technical display, but a sharp logical move. The success of this project lies in the perfect combination of three factors: recirculating aquaculture system technology, inland saltwater resources, and the absolute isolation of the desert. This is not just a shrimp farm, but a model for solving the global food problem in the era of climate change. It proves that when there is correct infrastructure thinking, disadvantages such as scorching heat or dryness become protective shields and endless sources of energy. When desert sand grows white gold, it is not a miracle. It is the result of intellect and perseverance. Could this sea and lake on sand model become the new standard for future agriculture? Or is this just a distinct advantage of the Egyptians? Do you believe that other dead lands in the world could also be revived through constructions like this? Please leave your opinion in the comments section below. If you love in-depth analytical content about world megastructures, please click subscribe and turn on notifications so as not to miss the next journeys with massive minds.